In an era of rapid change and interconnectivity, knowing the global environment, dealing with organizational culture, and understanding social responsiveness are central to effective leadership and decision making in global management. So, let's unravel the intricacies of management in a global context and discover how these principles resonate not only in the corporate world but also within educational institutions. I am Ria-Flor V. Valdos, a Doctor of Education student for the subject Educ 607, Advanced Readings in Organization and Management with Dr. Maria Agnes P. Ladia, Professor. Today, let's discuss navigating the global environment, management, organizational culture, and social responsiveness. To serve as our navigation map, here are the report's objectives. 1. Analyze the impact of global environmental factors on education. 2. Examine how organizational culture shapes an organization. And 3. Explore the principles of global management in educational contexts. This report will circle on the following buzzwords: global environment, global management, organizational culture, and social responsiveness. They are integral aspects of successful management and play significant roles in the shaping the way business operate and thrive. First, let's discuss the global environment, which refers to the external factors beyond an individual business control that can profoundly impact its success. The external organizational environment includes all elements outside the organization's boundaries that have the potential to affect it. However, it does not include events that are too distant to perceive or to have an impact on it. The external environment can be further divided into two components. The first one is task environment, and the second one is the general environment. The task environment, which conduct a day-to-day transactions within the organization and directly influence its operations and performance. This encompasses forces directly affecting a business competitiveness within its industry, including competitors, suppliers, customers, and government regulators. Competitors refers to businesses offering similar products or services which can influence pricing, product development, and marketing strategies. While suppliers are the providers of necessary inputs, impact costs, and product quality. We also have customers. Customers impact a business success through their choices. Lastly, government regulators, which pertains to agencies setting regulations which can affect operations and costs. The second one is general environment, which means it directly affects all businesses in an industry. These includes the following. We have economic factors, political factors, social factors, and technological factors. Economic factors: global economic conditions, inflation, exchange rates, and trade agreements influence demand, costs, and global competitiveness. For political factors, government regulations, stability, and international trade relations can affect operations costs and global competitiveness too, or global competitiveness. For social factors, we have demographics, cultural values, and consumer trends, which impact demand, talent acquisition, and international operations. For technological factors, advances and infrastructure changes can transform businesses, operations, and competitions. The global environment significantly impacts education. This influence highlights the importance of preparing our students to be responsible global citizens and equipping them with the skills and knowledge to thrive in an interconnected world. Next is organizational culture, which refers to shared values, beliefs, and behaviors that define an organization and make it unique. It shapes how things are done within the organization. Culture is composed of visible and invisible levels. For visible artifacts include things like manner of dress, patterns of behavior, and physical symbols, organizational ceremonies, and office layouts. Meanwhile, deeper levels involve values and beliefs that are not observable, but can be discerned from how people explain and justify their actions. These underlying assumptions and beliefs guide behaviors in the organization. Organizational culture is influenced by factors like history, mission, values, leadership, and the external environment, including industry and location culture. It is a dynamic and evolving aspect of an organization and the product of historical experiences, the embodiment of its mission and values, and the reflection of leadership actions. Also, the influence of the broader external environment. Understanding these factors is essential for global managers who aim to foster a positive and aligned culture within their organization. Organizational culture can significantly impact employee morale, productivity, and customer satisfaction. A positive culture attracts and retains talent and aids in goal achievement, while a negative one can lead to low morale, high turnover, and poor performance. Examples of organizational cultures are collaborative culture, which encourages idea sharing and teamwork, customer centric culture, which prioritizes excellent customer service, lastly, innovative culture, which fosters creativity and new ideas. For assessment and improvement, leaders can assess organizational culture through surveys, focus groups, interviews, and personal observations. Once assessed, leaders can shape and enhance culture through clear communication of values, goal setting, and recognition of desired behaviors. Here are the benefits of positive organizational culture. We have increased employee morale and engagement, improved productivity and performance, reduced turnover, enhanced customer satisfaction, and stronger brand reputation. Organizational culture profoundly affects education by shaping the values, behaviors, and overall climate within the educational institution. It influences factors such as teaching methods, student teacher relationships, decision making processes, and institutional goals. A positive organizational culture can enhance student engagement, academic performance, and overall learning outcomes. Conversely, a negative culture can lead to low morale, higher turnover rates, and reduce educational quality. Hence, fostering a positive organizational culture is crucial for creating an effective and supportive learning environment. Understanding the global environment and organizational culture is paramount for effective management. Managers who grasp these concepts can navigate external challenges, foster a positive work environment, attract top talent, and ultimately achieve their organizational goals. Global management is a distinct set of administration, communication, and management strategies tailored to the needs of an interconnected worldwide community. Also, it is a dynamic field shaped by the forces of globalization. It entails adapting management strategies to address the needs and desires that transcend national boundaries. The foundation of effective management consists of four core functions. First is planning, which is the process of setting organizational goals and devising strategies to achieve them. Next is organizing, which focuses on the efficient allocation of tasks, responsibilities, and decision making roles within the organization. Next is leading, which entails motivating and inspiring employees to work passionately towards organizational goals. Lastly, controlling. It is the final managerial function which encompasses the monitoring of progress toward the attainment of goals. Management levels and roles. Management is stratified into several levels, each with distinct responsibilities. Top managers such as CEOs, CFOs, and CIOs. Top managers are responsible for providing overall direction, fostering employee commitment, and shaping the organizational culture. Middle managers are like the managers or divisional managers who set objectives aligned with top management and implement strategies to achieve them. Next are the first line managers. Office or department managers are responsible for managing the performance of entry level employees who directly produce goods and services. Lastly, we have the team leaders who play a relatively new managerial role, primarily in companies employing self managing teams. Their responsibility involves facilitating team activities to accomplish specific goals. In a school or education setting, the counterparts of the management levels and roles would be as follows. For top managers, we have the principals or superintendents who are responsible for providing overall direction to the educational institution, shape the school's educational vision and culture, and foster commitment among teachers, staff, and students. For middle managers, here are the department heads or master teachers. They set educational objectives and goals in alignment with the school's mission. They develop and implement strategies to improve educational outcomes and oversee specific departments or curriculum areas. Next, we have the first line managers. Here we have subject teachers and grade level coordinators who manage the performance and daily activities of teachers and staff. They ensure that the curriculum is effectively delivered to students and they are directly involved in the teaching and learning process. Lastly, we have the team leaders. Here we have team facilitators and group project coordinators. They facilitate collaborative activities among teachers and students, and they lead a self managing team within the schools. They work to accomplish specific educational goals or projects. In school context, here are the designations that we usually have, such as the NGP or National Greening Program Coordinators, Kulayan sa Paaralan Coordinators, Supreme Student Government Advisors, and other youth formation advisors. These managers perform three primarily roles. First is interpersonal roles. These roles include serving as a figurehead, a leader, or a liaison, focusing on interactions with individuals and groups. Next, informational roles. Managers also serve as a monitor, a disseminator, and a spokesperson, involving information exchange and communication. Lastly is decisional. Decisional roles comprise being an entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator, emphasizing decision making and problem solving. Effective management necessitates a diverse skill set, including technical skills, These are the essential skills for team leaders and lower level managers who supervise workers. Next is human skills, which are crucial at all management levels as they involve effectively managing interpersonal relationships. Next is conceptual skill. These skills enable managers to see the organization as a whole, understand how different parts affect one another, and recognize the external business environment. Lastly is motivation to manage. This aspect is also evaluated in potential managers since they need the motivation to interact with others, make decisions, and handle administrative tasks. Managers are encouraged to learn from both their own and others' mistakes. Common managerial mistakes include insensitivity, trust issues, inability to delegate, and failing to think strategically. On the contrary, embracing best management practices such as employment security, selective hiring, self management teams, and continuous training can contribute significantly to achieving success. Global management transcends geographic boundaries and requires a deep understanding of cultural nuances and differences. A global mindset is crucial for effective management in a borderless world. A global mindset involves three dimensions, which includes cognitive dimensions, where managers must acquire knowledge about the global environment, comprehend cultural variations, and interpret complex global changes. We also have psychological dimension. This dimension includes building emotional connections with diverse ways of thinking, embracing risk-taking, and fostering self-confidence to navigate unpredictable situations. We also have social dimension. Cultivating a global mindset also involves building trust based relationships with people from various cultural backgrounds. To effectively manage in a global context, it is essential to also consider additional cultural dimensions such as assertiveness, future orientation, gender differentiation, performance orientation, and humane inter or orientation. These dimensions help explain and navigate cultural differences, further aiding in successful global management. As the business world becomes more global, employees will likely face someone from another country at some points in their careers. Companies will negotiate with companies from other countries, and even employees of domestic companies will likely encounter someone from another country. Furthermore, trends suggest that immigration, the movement of people from their home country to other countries, will continue to grow worldwide, a process that will continue to making companies' workforces more diverse. Here, we will discuss Hofstede's value dimension. Effective management styles are influenced by cultural characteristics, and understanding these differences is vital for global businesses landscape. HubSpot values dimensions offer a framework for comprehending and navigating these cultural variations, making it a valuable tool for global management. It consists of six dimensions, namely power distance, individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, long term orientation versus short term orientation, and indulgence versus restraint. For power dimension, this dimension measures the extent to which a society accepts an equal power distribution. In higher power distance cultures, managers may need to adopt a more formal and respectful approach. For individualism versus collectivism, it assesses whether a society values individual autonomy or group harmony. Managers in collectivistic cultures should prioritize building relationship and trust before giving direction. For masculinity versus femininity, this dimension gauges the emphasis on competition, assertiveness, and material success versus cooperation, relationships, and quality of life. Managers in masculine cultures may need to exhibit competitiveness and assertiveness. For uncertainty avoidance, it examines the degree to which a society feels threatened by the ambiguity. In high uncertainty avoidance cultures, managers should provide clear and structured guidance. For long term orientation versus short term orientation, this dimension evaluates the emphasis on long term goals versus short term results. Managers in long term oriented cultures should focus on developing comprehensive plans and on objectives. Lastly, indulgence and restraint. It measures the degree to which a society values indulgence and pleasure, or thrift and self control. Managers in indulgent cultures should be understanding of their employees who prioritize leisure and personal fulfillment. Applications of Hofstede's framework in global management can be applied in various ways. Number one is understanding cultural context. By understanding the cultural values of a country, managers can better interact with business partners, customers, and employees from that country. Number two, adapting management style. Managers can adapt their management style to different cultural contexts. For example, in a high power distance culture, a more directive approach may be necessary. Lastly, building cultural teams. Understanding cultural differences enables managers to build and manage multicultural teams more effectively, where it fosters inclusivity and productivity. Here are specific examples of the applications of Hofstede's value system. In a high power distance country, managers may need to maintain formality and respect in their interactions with employees. In a collectivistic country, building relationships and trust with employees before giving direction is crucial. While in a masculine country, a more competitive and assertive management style may be effective. Moreover, in a high uncertainty avoidance country, providing clear and structured guidance to employees is essential. In a long term oriented country, focusing on a long term plans and goals for the teams is a priority. Lastly, in an indulgent country, managers should be understanding of employees who value leisure and personal fulfillment. Although there are several frameworks to understand cultural differences, one of the most powerful is the Hofstede's model. Hofstede is a Dutch social scientist who developed his model by surveying over 88,000 employees in IBM subsidiaries from 72 countries. Hofstede developed this cultural model on the basis of differences in values and beliefs regarding work goals. So here are the results of his study. For a power distance, this dimension measures how society deals with hierarchy and unequal distribution of power. Countries such as Canada, Australia, Germany, Denmark, Finland, UK, and USA have low power distance, indicating that they tend to have flatter hierarchies and value equality in power. While China, Mexico, France, Spain, Greece, Brazil, India, and Japan have high or medium power distance, suggesting a more hierarchical and centralized approach to power. We also have individualism. This dimension reflects the degree to which individuals are integrated into groups in society. Australia, Canada, Germany, Denmark, Finland, UK, and USA score high on individualism, indicating a preference for individual freedom and autonomy, while China, Mexico, France, Spain, Greece, Brazil, India, and Japan score lower, suggesting a greater emphasis on collective or group identity. For uncertainty, some countries indicate a higher tolerance for ambiguity and a more relaxed attitude towards rules and structure, while those with high uncertainty avoidance, it suggests that they prefer clear rules and structure to deal with uncertainty. Meanwhile, for masculinity, they prefer assertiveness and competitiveness in culture, while those with low scores suggest that they are not that assertive or competitive. The last buzzword is social responsiveness, which refers to a company's strategy in addressing the expectations of stakeholders related to economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary aspects of social responsibility. When a company's action failed to meet these expectations, it creates a social responsibility problem. Companies can adapt or adopt four strategies to respond to such issues. Number one is the reactive strategy, which involves doing less than what society expects, which may often lead to criticism and ethical dilemmas. Number two, defensive strategy. It admits responsibility but does the minimum required to meet societal expectations, potentially avoiding legal repercussions. Number three is accommodative strategy, which accepts responsibility and takes progressive approaches to solve the problem, often aligning with evolving societal values. The last one is proactive strategy, which anticipates responsibility, exceeds expectations, and leads the industry in addressing the issue. Now, what is the difference between social responsibility and social responsiveness? The main distinction lies in their definition. Social responsibility is an ethical or moral obligation of an individual or entity towards society, while social responsiveness is the manner in which an individual or entity responds to a social need. Essentially, social responsibility represents a broader, long term commitment to ethical conduct and societal well being, while social responsiveness is more about the timely and adaptive reaction to specific social issues or needs as they emerge. Both concepts emphasize the importance of contributing positively to society, but they differ in terms of scope and timing. Social responsiveness encompass a range of ways in which schools engage with external groups or communities outside the traditional academics sphere. These forms of engagement include engaged scholarship, which involves the active participation of faculty members in activities that extend beyond traditional research or teaching roles. This may entail academic collaborations with external organizations, communities, or businesses to apply their expertise and research to real world issues. For civic engagement, it refers to the involvement of students in community services or activities that may contribute to the betterment of society. This can include volunteering, community outreach programs, or projects that address social, environmental, or local issues. Lastly, we have professional engagement. This form of engagement involves staff members using their professional expertise and skills to benefit external organizations or communities. For example, staff with expertise in areas like business, healthcare, or technology may collaborate with local businesses or other fields in order to help them. Tarlac State University is a socially responsive institution because it addresses issues and caters to the needs of the community through its extension services. It seeks partnership with schools and LGUs to explore various extension opportunities. Social responsiveness in education deals with a broad spectrum of activities beyond traditional academic pursuits. It involves academics, students, and staff actively engaging with external groups and communities to apply knowledge, serve society, and address real world challenges. These activities demonstrate the institution's commitment to being a responsible and socially aware member of the broader community. The concept of the global environment and global management, as well as social responsiveness, hold significant relevance within the realm of education. These concepts not only pertain to the corporate world, but also extend their influence in the field of education, shaping the way educational institutions operate and interact with their stakeholders. For global environment in education, we have cultural diversity and global citizenship education. For cultural diversity, schools host a diverse student body representing various cultures. Acknowledging and embracing these creates inclusivity that celebrates cultural perspectives. For global citizenship education, preparing students to be responsible global citizens requires awareness of global challenges such as climate change and social inequality. Education fosters knowledge, skills, and attitudes which could empower students to contribute positively to a globalized society. Now, for global management in education, we have internalization and efficient resource allocation. Internalization of education means applying global management principles to education, which involves establishing partnership with institutions worldwide, offering exchange programs, and fostering cross-cultural collaboration. This prepares students for success in a global job market. We also have effective management of educational resources, human and financial, enhances the quality of education. Global management principles optimize resource allocation and improve overall educational quality. Lastly is social responsiveness in education. We have here community engagement, ethical and responsible education, and adaptation to changing needs. Educational institutions actively engage with the local community to address its needs. This includes organizing community service projects, providing resources, and collaborating on initiatives benefiting society. We have social responsibility also encompasses ethical behavior and accountability. Educational leaders uphold ethical standards and promote values like empathy, inclusivity, and environmental stewardship. Lastly is adaptation to changing needs. Schools must adapt to evolving student and community needs. This involves updating curricula, implementing sustainable practices, and adopting innovative teaching methods to remain responsive to emerging issues. So, in a nutshell, it is emphasized that understanding the effective management of effectively navigating the global environment, fostering a positive organizational culture, and embracing a global mindset, as well as addressing social responsibilities, are critical for successful management, not just in the corporate world, but in educational setting in today's interconnected world. To make this discussion more engaging, Here are my comprehension questions. 1. How are the global environment and organizational culture related to each other? 2. How do you demonstrate social responsiveness? Please share your practices. As I end my presentation, allow me to leave you a quote from J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It matters not, it matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. I am Ria-Flor V. Valdos, a Doctor of Education student for the subject Educ 607, Advanced Readings in Organization and Management with Dr. Maria Agnes P. Ladia, Professor, for the topic Navigating the Global Environment, Management, Organizational Culture, and Social Responsiveness. Thank you for your indulgence.